It's Monday in Tryon, North Carolina, and it's been an absolutely beautiful day. Started out with a wonderful devotion from a young pastor here in North Carolina who brought a great devotion from the 23rd Psalm. Came back and opened up the internet to look at Facebook and saw a picture posted of my wife, my son, and my daughter. My wife was probably mid-20s. My son was 3 years old. My daughter was just born. They were fantastic picture of the beauty of my wife and the great looks and health of my son and my beautiful baby daughter. I looked out the window and the sun was shining and the lake was glistening, and on a bird feeder that has three holes to feed the birds were three beautiful goldfinches. Beauty of my wife, my son, and my daughter, beauty of the three goldfinches on the bird feeder, the beauty of the lake. And it reminded me of a joke that I heard many years ago about a little boy who was being schooled by his mother when he went to a birthday party. She said, "Now mind your manners. Be sure that you thank the little boy's mother whose birthday you're going to." So when he got home, she said, "Did you remember to thank Johnny's mother for inviting you to the birthday party?" He said, "Well, I was all ready to, but," he said, "the little boy ahead of me told her thank you, and she said don't mention it, so when I got to her, I didn't." Well, I don't want to be like that little boy, and I just want to thank God for my wife, my son, and my daughter. I want to thank him for the wonderful devotion that he brought to me today through the preacher at the associational meeting, for the glory of the surroundings that he's placed us in, and for the beauty that's everywhere that I look. Today, from the book of Hebrews, written around AD 64 to 68, in chapter 12, we find the motivation for having a Christian life. We have a cloud of witnesses. Chapter 12, verse 1 says, looking at the cloud of witnesses, there's an examination that goes on there. Not just at the cloud of witnesses, but an examination of every encumbrance which we're to lay aside, and every sin which can easily entangle us. And then we're to run with endurance. So when we look at the cloud of witnesses, we need to remember to lay aside the encumbrances, the sin which can entangle us, and to run with endurance. Well, what's our example? Well, our example is Jesus. He's the author and perfecter of faith, it tells us in verses 2 through 4. And we're to consider the fact that he endured the cross and he sat down, a finished work, at the right hand of the Father. And so we're reminded in Hebrews 12 to consider him as our example. Not only the cloud of witnesses and not only the encumbrances and the sin and the endurance that we need to run with, but we're to remember him because he was willing to endure the cross and he finished the work that God gave him to do. And we're not to grow weary or to lose heart. Sometimes it's easy to miss the simple things of life. Sometimes it's easy to take for granted and not be thankful for all that God's given to us. So tonight I'd ask you to take just a few minutes to consider not only the cloud of witnesses that are watching us, not only to examine the encumbrances which might hold us back, or the sin which might entangle us, but that we would run with endurance because Jesus is our example. He suffered through the cross, finished his work, and we shouldn't grow weary or lose heart. That's your thought for the day. God bless you and have a wonderful day.